Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Kona Ice. Kona Ice is a shaved ice truck that brings a one-of-a-kind tropical experience to you. Guests can flavor their own Kona Ice on our signature flavor wave, dance to our island music tunes, and enjoy a nutritious and delicious treat. Contact Jeremy and Marissa at 352-403-0515. Don't forget to follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Penosofsky's newest tap room, offering 14 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beers, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and pub. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to come hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app. Is the exterior of your home or business covered in dirt, mildew, or mold? Driveway or walkway stained? Pressure King can make your siding, deck, vents, and concrete look new again with no damage. Pressure King has cleaned the exterior of houses and businesses all over Sumter County area. Usually it takes less than a day and costs less than you would expect. Call AJ at 352-457-7209. Welcome back to the Goblay Show, everyone. This is Billy. I'm your host today. We have a special guest. His name is Mr. Carson Wells, and he is a former player at South Sumter High. Went on to play college ball at University of Colorado, and played linebacker there for many years. Got picked up by Cincinnati in the as an undrafted free agent. And we're going to talk to him a little more about his journey through football and life. And without further ado, Mr. Carson Wells. Carson, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, Billy. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. I sent out a little survey on Facebook, and I said something about who do you guys want to see? And I had several requests for you. And it was a lot of young guys and a lot of old guys. They want to know how you been, what you're up to these days. So I know where you were just recently at, but let's talk a little bit about the past. And so how'd you get into football? Did you play? Was it Wolfpack, or did you have Wolfpack then, or mom let you play, or what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I probably started in like the third grade, I would say. My brother Colt was 8 years older than me, so I was watching him play. We'd play football in the backyard. I feel like that's probably a huge part of
no doubt
of what my story became. Getting bullied in the backyard. That makes a man out of you.
Made you tough.
Heck yeah. I started in like third grade, Wolfpack. Next year, I really liked it. Next year, I broke my growth plate in my left foot, and I was ready to be done with football in general. And I didn't want to play anymore. And then fifth grade, I was too big for Wolfpack. Sixth grade, couldn't play. Couldn't play middle school, still too big for Wolfpack. So then in seventh grade, went out with Coach Kinley at the middle school. Really just took off from there. I mean, it's what you do in Sumter County. I mean, you play ball.
Yeah,
that's all. It's just your only option.
Right. So what did you said you were too big? What? I mean, is that pretty much how it's set up, or was it just like?
I think they took the weight limits off of it now, but
yeah,
there used to be like a little weight,
right.
like if you're this big, you play.
That's right. They used to weigh you.
Yeah,
they don't do that anymore. Yeah,
yeah, they used to weigh you.
Now it's all birth certificates. The kids have to know their birthday, so that's it.
I am 12.
Yeah, their name, and they're like, it's amazing. Like they're 8 years old, and they're like, my name is, and you're like, we got to play a ball game, come on. And then to know their birthday is amazing. I know it's like near Christmas.
You got to have little rehearsals in the car before you get out.
Yeah, you've had. I'm sure every parent's been there. All right, listen. Your birthday is 11/4, whatever 2010.
2000s babies now,
I
man.
know. I wouldn't say 19. I'm a 1900 baby there. So you couldn't play Wolfpack. You get to middle school. You play there. Did you fall in love with it immediately, or did you have a favorite position? Did you play offense, defense? What'd you do?
With Kinley, we would play both ways. So I played middle linebacker, and then
Right.
I was a power back too.
Oh, okay. Power back. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Who were your teammates? You got a few teammates you can name?
We had Derek Dixon, Malik, Darion Shine. Who else? That's been a long time ago then.
Yeah.
That's probably
I'm asking you to dig deep in the bag.
12, 14 years ago now, man. I'm getting old.
It sucks getting old, isn't it?
It does. My knees feel it, man. My knees feel it.
So you play in middle school, Coach Kinley. I just had Coach Kinley on a few episodes ago, and he had a great time here. He was naming, things, accolades and stuff that he's done with his career, coaching wise, and he's produced a lot of good guys for us at the high school. I didn't really know you till you got to the high school. I rarely get to go to a middle school game because it's on Tuesday night. But you get to the middle, or you get to the high school, and I do remember you making an impact quickly. I mean, there was a lot of buzz around you at an early age. As a freshman, you made an impact. Can you tell me what that was like going from middle school to high school football?
Man, I still remember it was Crystal River, 9th grade year. I was playing outside linebacker. I think that was my first start. I still remember the B gap just opened up wide. I saw the running back. I was like, got to make this play. I think that was my first tackle ever in high school. I got to thank Joey Moeller. He kind of took me under his wing. He was a senior captain, and we were kind of like rotating.
Yeah.
And at a young age, it would have been really easy for him to be like, it's like not really like me because I'm kind of competing with him. But he took me under his wing and tried to teach me everything that he knew. And I feel like that was a big help to me at a young age.
Yeah. Joey's a great guy.
Yeah, I love Joey. I still keep in contact
Funny
with
story about Joey. Joey and PJ Brown. We went did a workout one time at Anytime. And they're, I don't know, they might be sophomore, junior year, and could be their senior year. I'm not quite sure. But I'm thinking I'm still young. I'm like, yeah, I can compete with these guys. And I did everything they did, and the next day, dude, I could not walk. I thought I was paralyzed. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. But I never told him that. I was like, yeah. I'm like, I feel my legs and my arms feel like Jello right now. No, he's a good guy. Who else did you have? What position? You said linebacker? Mm-hmm. When they make you a D lineman?
My sophomore year.
Yeah. Okay. So who was in Coach Lawrence was defense coordinator then, correct? Okay. Mm-hmm. So
he was my linebackers coach my first year.
Right. So Coach Lawrence, was he a hard coach, you think, or because I heard Your Highness Morgan had a little bit of a run in with him, telling him, got on him a lot, but I think Coach Lawrence is just
he's definitely gotten soft in his old age.
Coach Lawrence, if you're listening to this podcast at this time, he meant that with sincere love in his heart.
No doubt.
No, I mean, I've seen Coach Lawrence. You're right. He has kind of mellowed out just a little bit, but I mean, I've seen him yell from the press of the press box at certain players, and was able to get their attention on the field, and that's pretty hard to do. If you know what I mean. So tell me a little bit about your sophomore year. You got more playing time. Is there a game that stood out for you that you can remember that you thought, man, this is gonna be something I could do? Like, when was that moment?
I mean, well, to take a step back, Coach Lawrence came to me during the off season and was like, because I wasn't that big. I was maybe 6'2", 210, which I'm like high school, pretty big, but on the grand scheme of things, not that big. He came to me and was like, if you want to go to college, the end in our defense is where to go. Because before that, it was Darian. My freshman year, Elijah was there. Like, you had all these guys. You play that position, you're gonna get numbers, and you're gonna be able to go to the next level.
Right.
And at that time, Devin Pappenheim was the other end, and then Montel was there, who both went on to play college.
Oh, Meach.
Yeah.
Big Meach.
Big Meach.
Yeah. They both had both great defensive linemen too.
Yeah.
It's funny how Devin played a little bit of tight end as well. You know. So, what else did you didn't play any offense, did you, at all, or no? Just strictly defense. Okay. I know, because I know a lot of people kind of flipped and flopped around.
In our time,
skill players or whatever.
In our time, there really wasn't any both ways. Coach Sherman was pretty strict in one side of the ball, keep you fresh and try to run tempo.
Right. That up tempo.
Looking back, I wish I would have kind of fought a little bit more to play both ways.
Right.
Especially as I got older.
Right.
But yeah, we were just one side back then.
Didn't you punt?
That was my junior year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I remember you punting.
I had a couple of highlights where I would punt the ball. I had no kind of philosophy behind it. I didn't try to keep it at like 40, 45 where my coverage team could get down there. I was just punting as far as I could.
Yeah.
So I would outkick my coverage a lot of times, and I'd have to go make some tackles after it's skirted by my coverage team.
Let me tell you, we all outkick our coverage.
man.
In life, football, yes, we all do. So going with that, your junior year, anything stand out for you? Did you guys?
Junior year, we played Bishop Moore over at Bishop Moore.
That was, yeah.
I feel like they had two guys going to Notre Dame, a tight end and a tackle. Funny thing is, I was just with a safety from Bishop Moore out in the XFL.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he say anything?
Yeah, he knew Earl. Him and Earl were real close.
Everybody knows Earl.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Hey, you know Earl Everett? Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's how our conversation got started. Ben DeLuca.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I do remember that name now. I remember that name. So you graduated in 2016, right? 2017, okay. So 2016, that was your junior year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on. And I know one game that I know, the Jacksonville Bowls game, your senior year.
See, to me, that one doesn't even.
That was a big game.
That was a big game. Don't get me wrong, but that one didn't even.
So what was your favorite game then?
Probably Bishop Moore at home again. I probably had 20-something tackles.
Yeah.
We still couldn't beat them, but
I was gonna say we haven't beat them. And that's still a goal.
I know.
That's a good. I mean, it's not. You play your hardest no matter what you do. I don't know. I just think that's a team that, for a while there, that was like how Bowles was, and we beat them, and it's like awesome. I know we beat them a while back before that, but there was a stretch where, golly, we can't. You just wonder, can we beat these guys?
I know. When you play Bowles at Bowles, I feel like it's a little.
Oh, it's intimidating.
It's a little lopsided.
A little home cooking there.
Yeah,
huh?
A little home field advantage, if you know what I mean.
So, all right. So we're gonna kind of fast forward because we got a couple different tiers to go with. We're gonna go to when you decided. Well, let's first say, what did you decide? What was the first university or college you decided to go to? I mean, it wasn't Colorado right away, was it?
Oh, like on a visit? Or?
Yeah, on a visit or like a recruiting, like, anybody coming to see you, or how many offers you have? My
first offer was Army, and I was like, please, dear God, let me get another offer.
Well, I don't get it. Why? This is gonna sound really bad, but why is our armed forces? Why is the armed forces so bad at football? They're awful.
Navy used to be good. Air Force is good. Air Force wins 10, 11 games every year.
Don't get me wrong. The Army Navy game is really entertaining, but Air Force never. I mean, they might have had some good people.
Air Force has won the Commander in Chief's trophy like the last 2 or 3 years. It's just not the big games, so they don't get pushed.
But you know what I mean? Like they get beat. They used to get beat by people like William and Mary.
Yeah, Navy had a good stretch. I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. So who else?
Man, I just lost track.
You got a thing from Army. They offered you.
Yeah.
And you said, please God.
Let me get another one. I had Tulane. Tulane was a cool one. They were right in the middle of New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans is kind of a dirty city, though. Where they were at wasn't bad, but.
Yeah, we went there one time, and I brought my buddy who had never been there before. I'd been there like a couple times before that. And I asked him, I said, what'd you think of New Orleans? And he said, well, it's like the dirty side of Daytona and Atlanta had a kid.
Yeah.
I said, that's not a bad analogy. That's pretty good. The size of Atlanta, but the dirty side of Daytona.
Might even be dirtier. It's bad.
Dude, I saw something.
I was just walking through the streets and felt like I needed a shower. Man.
I saw a guy sitting on the curb, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? And like, I'm going down, it's on Bourbon Street. And of course, and cop car rolls by. He's looking down the street both ways. Takes a line right off the curb.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
man. Wow.
We are in another world right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Tulane
was cool. Southern Miss.
And I love that.
Southern Miss is cool.
That was the reason why I went the first time, because a friend of mine was at Southern Miss, and dude, they got an awesome stadium there. Of course, Ray Guy and Brett Favre are their claims to fame, but they love their football there, man. It's such a cool little southern town.
Mm-hmm.
Great barbecue if you ever get to go back, but I'll have to tell you where to go. But Southern Miss.
I never got App State. I was kind of sick. I never got App State.
Oh yeah, that
I feel like with our connection to App State,
I was gonna say that would have been cool.
They wanted me to come up on a visit, and I imagine if I would have went to go visit, I might have got an offer.
You would have definitely fallen in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a beautiful area.
For whatever reason, I just never got up there. USF, UCF, FAU, FIU. I never got Florida State, or Miami. I probably would have stayed in the state if I would have got one of those, but
yeah,
I wanted to get out, go make a.
Now let me tell you this: you went up to a football camp at UF, and that same day, or might have been that same weekend, I saw Randy Shannon. Was it Randy Shannon? Yeah, Randy Shannon, the linebacker coach at the time. I saw him at one of the steakhouses, like Longhorn or whatever. He was waiting for a table, and I said, "Hey," I look over, I go, "Hey, coach, how's Carson Wells?" He just goes, "Give me a thumbs up." Now I don't know if he actually knew who I was talking about, but he's like, "Good." So I'm like, all right, maybe he knows. Maybe he realized who he was.
At the time, I think they had co-defensive coordinators. It was Jeff Collins and him, and I think Jeff liked me a lot.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Collins went to Temple.
Right.
But that was after I already committed to Colorado.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think he called Lawrence asking about me, and Lawrence was like, he's already committed to Colorado.
So how did Jim Haslett come in the picture?
Jim Levitt.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Jim Levitt.
I said Jim Haslett. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jim Levitt. Sorry.
So he knew he started the program at USF and had like Ben Moffitt, Richard Kelly.
That's right.
And he knew Coach Sherman from way back in the day.
Yeah, real well.
So I feel like that relationship right there opened the door for me.
Right.
He started recruiting me like my sophomore year. As soon as I made the switch to DN, he even came and watched the red and white game, like early on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he offered me, and then once I took a visit to Colorado, I was like, this is where I want to be.
Right.
So this is probably telling of signs to come at Colorado, but all three coaches that recruited me were gone before I stepped foot on campus. Jim Levitt recruited me, went to Oregon. Jim Jeffcoat recruited me. He got let go. And then another coach, he got arrested for domestic abuse.
Wow.
So
did you say Jim Jeffcoat?
Yeah.
That played for the Cowboys?
Yeah. He was a D-line coach. We got videos of him out at the house. He was riding around with us on those little side by sides.
Dude. Yeah, Jimmy Jeffcoat, baby. He was University of Miami? Was that Miami?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Jim Jeffcoat. I think he played at Miami. But yeah, Super Bowl MVP, or not MVP, but Super Bowl winner. He was there. Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Now, let me ask you this. Did any of those guys ever talk to you after that? Did they tell you that they were leaving, or did they just go? Especially Jim.
Levitt let me know, because he offered me once he went to Oregon.
Oh, he did ask you to come with him.
Yeah, so if you remember, Willie Taggart left USF and went to Oregon. And then Levitt left Colorado and took another coach with him to Oregon. So I knew the whole staff at Oregon from both parties that were recruiting me the heaviest kind of went to Oregon.
Yeah.
And awesome. I was this close to flipping to Oregon.
Well, I mean,
probably would have had a whole different trajectory.
Right. Well, yeah, and Oregon's just a different world too. I mean, look at the facility and stuff they have. I mean they have Nike everywhere.
Nike money.
Oh my gosh, they got that Nike money.
Daddy Phil.
Yeah, just like what is it? Maryland has Under Armour.
Yeah. And North Carolina has Jordan.
Oh yeah, Jordan. That's right. So I mean that helps quite a bit with recruiting as well. I mean, they're gonna get all this new stuff. It's just a game, man. It's like a game within a game.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up going to take a visit. You visited first, obviously, before you committed. Did you take a visit out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you go out there and you visit. What did you think of Colorado? Had you ever been to Colorado?
No, I'd never been. So you're coming in. Denver's kind of 30 minutes away. The airport's kind of 30 minutes away outside of Denver. And you fly into Denver, and you're driving towards Boulder. Like, you can see the mountains, but you can't really see them that well. And then as soon as you're coming into Boulder, you go over this hill, and it's just like a postcard.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. There's nothing like it in Florida. I mean,
yeah. No. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And we got the pleasure to go out there and see you.
Yeah. Y'all saw it.
We went out there and spent Thanksgiving that one year. Which was a really cool experience. I had been there before. My brother lived in Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that Denver side, we always flew into Colorado Springs or drove. We didn't always go to the Denver side. So I had never been to Boulder. That was actually my first and only time ever going to Boulder. So, but it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And if you're an outdoorsman, it's like the perfect place to go. I mean,
where we lived, kind of like in this retirement community. It was right outside of Boulder, but you just go out our back door and there's hiking trails. You'd be up in the mountains within like 10 minutes walking.
Wow. And wildlife.
Yeah, we'd have mule deer like this just in our backyard. It's crazy. I'm like,
just hanging out.
I'm like, don't let me get a gun. Don't let me get a gun.
So there's no hunting in the city limits.
No, nothing. They know that too. They just tease you.
They've informed the deer. They have posted signs everywhere.
I promise you, they can read. They know where to go. They know where to go.
So you go to Colorado, and you finally go, hey, this is where I'm spending the next 4 years. I know it was a little bit longer, but projected 4 years. What were your thoughts? What were you thinking? I'm so far away from home. I'm 18 years old. What were you thinking?
I mean, my redshirt year, I got out there in June. So we graduate high school like into May. I'm already out there by June 3rd, I think is.
Wow, that's early.
Yeah, so
that's super early.
As soon as you get out there, as soon as we graduate high school, you pretty much pack up your things and you're heading out there. Go through. They keep the freshmen separate. You kind of go through you got 20, 25 guys. You're all new to it, all from different high schools, all big fish or big ducks on little ponds.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you get thrown in there and nobody knows who you are. There's way to here, Sumner County, you drive down the road, you see 10 people you know.
Right.
You can walk around all day out there and not see anybody you know.
Or 10 people you don't want to see.
Yeah, for a little bit of both.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, but out there it's so much, I mean, like, it's kind of cool to go, because I experienced that when I didn't go as far as you did. I went to Orlando. Mm-hmm. But the differences were so, like, it was different because you could go over there and nobody knew who you were, and they weren't talking about stuff like, hey, Billy, remember when you were like 12 and you did this?
Yes.
You know?
It's almost like you create like a whole new life. Like
Absolutely. It doesn't follow you. Now I had to come back because people in Orlando know too much about me. So I had to come back. I had to come back to Sumter to where I'm just kidding now. But no, I get it. And it's a fresh start, and it's a cool thing. If I highly recommend it for anybody. I mean, it's a do-over is always great. A mulligan, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So you get on campus, and what was the lifestyle there? Was it pretty cool? I mean, I know they do some recreational stuff out there.
Yeah, Boulder's a pretty big party school. Okay. If you want to find it, you can find it pretty much any day of the week.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm sure that's any party school. I mean, you could probably do that at UF or Florida State, whatever. If you want it, go look for it. I guess that's. But you go there. What kind of classes are you taking?
I started in engineering.
Okay.
My redshirt year, I was in engineering, but I was putting in like 13, 14 hours a week of study hall.
Oh, wow.
Which during your redshirt year, all you do is you just lift and you practice Monday through Thursday because the team will travel on Fridays. So I could do it. Then, but I'm like, if I want to take ball seriously,
right,
there's no way I'm gonna be able to do all the things I have to do to be great at ball, right, and still put in 13, 14 hours a week.
Right.
So I left the engineering school, talked to my counselor, and I was like, trying to get into the business school. So then I switched over to accounting and finance at the end of my redshirt year.
Okay.
I ended up just doing finance. I got my degree in 2021.
Cool. Yeah. So the engineering part, was that something that you always wanted to do, or was it just something you just said, well, I'll do this because...
It's just something that when you Google jobs to do, high-paying jobs to do,
yeah,
you come out of school making a lot of money.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you finished all that? You're good to go with all that? Or
I got one more week and I get my master's degree.
Nice, man. Yeah. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Colorado finished paying for that too. So I was talking to my mom. That's probably at the end of everything that they've done. Like you include undergrad, tuition, housing, you throw in the master's, tuition, whatever. And then you get a stipend too. So I was getting paid $2,500 a month to go to school. You include the flights to games, you include food 3-4 times a day.
Yeah.
They probably gave you $1 million, probably $1.5 million for you to go get your degree.
Right.
I guess a pretty good deal.
Right. So the NI deals now, what are you thinking about those? I feel
like it's cool.
I mean, you took, that was right when you were coming out, right? Mm-hmm. That was 2 years ago. I
got a lot of free stuff. I wouldn't say, unless you're like a top guy, you're not going to benefit from it too much.
Right.
I think it's cool. I mean, kids should get something for it. I mean, NCAA makes billions of dollars every year. Right. It just goes to somewhere. Somebody's getting it. Kids might as well get their little piece of the cookie.
Right, right. Oh, there's nothing wrong with sharing by any means. We've talked about that with Coach Sherman and I think Coach Kinley and maybe even Boo too about, that's not supposed to be life-changing money. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could get by with it. That's, but $8 million, that's who couldn't use $8 million, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, I think they should get paid. Now, maybe 10 years ago, I probably wasn't on the boat with it. I wasn't on the same boat. But knowing what I know now, it's because of the unknown. You don't know too much about it. You just go, well, they're just getting. I mean, they are getting an education, and that's very valuable because that's gonna follow you for the rest of your life, and that's gonna be there longer than the money ever will. There's a lot of people that money never makes it past 10 years, and that degree is gonna be with you for forever. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Central Screen Services LLC, in collaboration with Mask & Sons Incorporated. All screen services are available. We offer a variety of colors, durability, and sizes for all your screening needs. Pool areas, patios, and more. Call 352-603-4099 today for your free estimate. Proudly serving all of Citrus, Sumter, Hernando, Lake, and Pasco counties. To find out more, check them out on Facebook. Lions Only Landscape. Looking for landscaping or trimming done in your yard? They provide services such as landscaping, rocking, curbing, driveways, and more. Proudly serving the Villages area. Reach out to Mike Zapata or Fernando Arredondo for free quotes and more info. Duto Realty is a homegrown business with an eye for getting the job done right. From football games to Sunday school and everything in between, these ladies care about our community and the people in it. Helping buyers and sellers in all of Florida with all types of transactions, including residential, commercial, farm, or vacant land. They do it all. They even offer auction services and sellouts to always get the job done right. Did you do any card signings or anything? Did you do any memorabilia stuff? Or
before I was coming out for the draft, I did a card signing. They just sent me the little stickers and I signed them, turned them back. It was like signed $3,000 for $5,000.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, that's
as a college student, that's a lot of money
to sign your name. Yeah, absolutely.
I had carpal tunnel by the end of it, but it was worth it.
Yeah, you're like making your hand. Sign it.
Literally.
So let me ask you this: you were at Colorado, that's Pac-12. Favorite schools to play at?
Arizona State.
Arizona State, hands down, or
hands down.
Better than Oregon?
Oregon didn't impress me. On TV, it looks big, but you get there and it's really not that big.
Really?
And they pump in crowd noise. Because we played them in 2019 when they had like Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
they were Penei Sewell, like they were legit.
Yeah,
and they killed us. We shouldn't have been on the field with them. So by like midway through the third quarter, the stadium was kind of empty, but it's still just as loud. I'm like, started looking around. They got big old speakers everywhere. I'm like, what are they doing? They were pumping in crowd noise the whole time.
Yeah, you got to have that effect for the TV, man. It'd be like 2020 in the NFL games or MLB games. There ain't nobody there.
That's how our 2020 was. We played in front of literally nobody.
Yeah.
And then you were watching first our season got canceled in 2020. So we're at the house watching the SEC teams play in front of 40, 50,000.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So then we bring our season back and we're playing in front of absolutely nobody. They just put tarps. We played at Stanford. They filled up the stadium with trees. I'm like, what? I'd rather just play in front of an empty
Literally,
stadium.
the mascots were in the trees.
Just trees.
Yeah.
The whole stadium was just filled with trees.
That's crazy. Make it look like wooded.
I guess.
Playing in the forest. So Arizona State, never been there. That sounds like a
they got a cool environment.
Campus. I know that's a party. That's definitely a party college.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you play at BYU?
Not at BYU. The coolest stadium I've played at in general would probably be Nebraska. Nebraska's crazy.
Huge.
Nebraska's crazy.
Well, there ain't nothing out
We're 2-0 against Nebraska too.
That's awesome. Who was coach? Was that Frost?
Scott Frost.
Oh, got the 2-0 on that. I like that. Okay, so not in your conference. Coolest team you ever played against?
I wanted to play at Texas A&M, but they got that was supposed to be in 2020.
That's right.
And that got canceled. And then we played them in Mile High in 2021.
And you guys
We should have won.
That's right. That was
We were winning
you guys were
7-3
winning.
the whole time,
Right.
and then we gave up a wheel route.
That's when you that stinking wheel route. Gosh,
I wish I would have been on the other side. Get a little PBU.
that was. But you didn't you have a? That was your you had an interception. Or that was a fumble. Was that a fumble recovery?
I didn't have a good game that game because the week of practice I pulled my oblique, so my whole side sticking out like this.
Ugh.
I probably had like 2 or 3 tackles. I think I had a half a sack, nothing crazy.
Okay. You had the interception against Arizona.
I had a pick 6 against
That's
Arizona.
right. That's a pick 6. And there was one other. What was the scoop and score on? That was it. Was it? You had a scoop and score.
I just had the pick 6. That's the only time I've ever
Was the
scored.
pick 6? You had 2 pick 6s?
Against UCLA in 2020, I got tackled on the
Oh, okay. That's
quarterback
okay,
tackled me on like the
That's
half
what it
yard
was.
line.
Okay, I was like, no, I remember seeing you score twice. But yeah, you're right.
Tackled me on the.
That's right. Well, you would know.
That was tough.
Yeah, but you know what? You still accomplished what you gave the offensive ball back.
I know this. At least they scored.
I was gonna say run some clock off and score. That might be a game changer right there. You score too quickly, man. You've seen that before. So you graduate. Well, you graduate. You leave Colorado because you're not done just yet. But you leave for the draft. Now, what was the whole draft experience like? Did they do anything for the combine? You do a pro day?
There's a bunch of through the whole draft process. There's a bunch of highs and a bunch of really bad lows. Like you try to stay kind of even, but there's good days, there's bad days.
Right.
I did my training down in Fort Lauderdale at Bomberitos. That was fun. My body felt good after that.
Right.
And then I never got a combine invite. I was one of the snubs. Everybody's like, why didn't you get an invite? No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I went to my pro day, ran a 4.56 in the 40, jumped like a 36, 10-foot broad. It was a decent pro day. Then go fast forward to draft day. I kind of got the short end of the stick because you had a log jam from COVID giving us that extra year.
Right.
So everybody that should have came out in 2019 got an extra year of eligibility. It was coming out in 2020. So there was like 2 draft classes in 2020.
Right.
I had a draftable grade, but there were so many people I just fell out. I slid and fell out. And then had a couple free agent offers. Ended up signing with the Bengals. And then they moved me to inside linebacker, which I wish I would have known before I signed. I would have probably tried to get a better fit somewhere else.
Right.
Because it's hard to learn a new position when the person beside you is making $5 million a year and they're getting all the time and resources and reps in practice.
Right.
It's hard to learn a new position. So then make it through. I got cut after the second preseason game, and then had a couple workouts, the Patriots, the Titans, and I thought they went well, but then they'll like hold you and keep you around for a little bit, for a couple hours. So you're like, I'm about to get signed. Like you start getting, and then they're like, no, we can't make the roster move today. We just don't have the space or whatever.
Right.
So then you come back home, and then like that's what I'm saying. There's a bunch of highs and a bunch of lows. It's kind of hard on your mental health. Like you come back, everybody's like, how to go, and you just don't want to talk about it.
Right.
But you don't want to be a butthole because like they're just trying to be nice.
Right.
Like it's hard to balance that. Like you know what I'm saying?
Well, they care as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean. And you know that, but I get that too because you're frustrated and you're upset. Don't take this the wrong way, but when you played that bowl game against Texas in San Antonio, and I was like, hey man, you played great, and I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but I kind of felt that same way after I said it. I was like, maybe I shouldn't have, but I wanted to let you know that we support and we care about you.
No, I get that. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard. It's just hard on your mental health because you're like, you don't want at the time you don't want to talk to people, but then you still have that support system behind you that you need to
Well, yes, and I think I broke the 24-hour rule. You're supposed to let it cool down for 24 hours. But again, I wanted to let you know that you were highly supported in the community, and we do we want to see you succeed and all that. But I get it.
No, I appreciate it.
But the whole Cincinnati experience was pretty cool. I mean, training camp was cool.
I mean, you're sitting down at the little training table, eating your food, and Joe Burrow's across from you. You got Jamar Chase over there. You got T. Higgins.
Yeah.
You got Logan Wilson. Like, you had like all these guys, but then once they get into the building, they're just like another one of the guys. They're your coworkers.
Right.
Like, it's just a crazy reality.
Now, were they accepting, or were they receptive? That they go, hey man, what's going on? Were they like, they talk to you? Or?
Yeah, the Bengals. I feel like that's why they're such a good team. Like, they're a bunch of young guys, and I feel like they put their
communication and stuff,
pride aside.
Right.
Because from what I've heard, a lot of guys, once they get to the league, they kind of just stay in their own lane.
Yeah. And
just try to focus on them and what's going to put food on their table. But I don't feel like in the Bengals, I don't feel like that's their culture.
Right. And I see both sides of that. I see, because when I was talking to Boo about that, he was talking about when he went to the Eagles, nobody would talk to him because he was a free agent. Like, he was like, they didn't know if he was going to stick around or not. And they're like, why would we talk to this guy if he ain't going to be on our team very long? So, like, especially like practice squad or whatever. I get that. But I mean, they're still humans. I mean, they're still guys chasing the same dream and same goal. They want to win a championship, So I see both sides of that. You're like, man, that guy the guy didn't really open up, just he didn't even look at me. That would be very discouraging if I had like a favorite guy and I went on to a team and I'm like, man, I looked up to this guy my whole life, and he's still there. It'd be awesome. But just to see him react that way, it's very discouraging. It's like when a kid meets someone, and they go, somebody's not any, there's different variables. Somebody might not have a good day or whatever. They might. You don't ever know what's going on in their life. But you always try to be the best possible version of yourself in front of people, at least. And so I get both sides of that, but funny story about your linebacker coach. Coach Chad Daniels, he coaches with me at Wolfpack and coached baseball together this year. They grew up together, they went to school together. College, I think it was college. They went and he was his college roommate. So I thought that was kind of cool to have that little bit of tie there. I'm like, oh well, this guy this is a very small world. How was coaching experience over there? Was it good? Like, people, I mean, how did you respond to their coaching and stuff?
The inside linebacker coach that you're talking about, Coach Beck, he was a good coach.
Yeah.
He was with the Niners before us, so I mean, he had like Fred Warner, like he has guys, like he's coached top of the top, and then I mean at the Bengals you got Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, who are both like probably top 15, top 20 linebackers in the league.
Right.
And for him to take, like, he would meet with me and the other guy and take time out of his day after meetings to stay and answer any questions we had, like what did we see, what can we work on,
right? And
for him to do that for a couple of undrafted guys just means a lot,
right?
And we ran my senior year in college. We ran the same defense pretty much that the Bengals ran, and then we ran the same defense again when I was in the XFL. So being able to carry over everything that I learned from place to place, was a big help.
Right. I want to go back just a step back to Colorado. I forgot to mention your one of my favorite guys, and I can't say his name. I don't want to butcher his name, but the German.
Oh, Joshka Gustav. That's my guy.
That's my boy, man. I was like, man, I got Carson. I got the German on there.
Heck
He's awesome, dude. I forgot to ask you about him. Was he your roommate?
When we would travel, yeah.
Yeah. Who did you room with? Were you by yourself? And you had the house, you said.
Oh yeah, it was
in Colorado.
So my first 2 years, my first year we lived in a house. It was 6 guys.
Yeah.
And then my second year, I lived with Nate Landman, who's on the Falcons, and then Ray Robb. That's my guy. So we lived there for 2 years. And then my last year, lived in another house with 6 guys. So we moved around a little bit.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to go too far back. I feel like a Tarantino movie here going, all right, let's go back. But no, I wanted to say say stuff about him because I didn't get to meet him when I went out to Colorado, but that was a cool experience, by the way. Meeting up with you at Colorado. We didn't really could see the stadium, but kind of, I mean, it was late. But the whole experience, I can see why people love that area.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
our stadium's cool because the sidelines are right next to the fans, so they can literally touch you. Like while you're sitting on the bench, they can reach over and touch you.
Oh wow!
Which is good when you're winning, but when you're losing and you have somebody like on your shoulder, I'm like, bro, don't touch me, man. Come on, bro. That's like the 24-hour rule again. Like, don't touch me, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
It hasn't even.
And like, come on, you got it. No, bro, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Man.
So let me ask you this: when we were talking about your plays, what was your? I forgot to ask this. What was your favorite? What was your mountaintop moment in college football?
Mountaintop, probably that pick 6 against Arizona, just because so much preparation went into that play. So I'm like watching film, see all the tendencies, whatever.
Right.
3rd and short. I know they like a little stick route when they get FIB, which is they put 3 receivers into the boundary. Mm-hmm. So number 1 will run a vertical, try to clear out. 2 will run it out, and then 3 will run a route. And they're looking to hit 3 on that little out route. So I'm playing curl flat on 2, which is just the outside part of cover 3. Get a reroute on 2, and then I see 3 breaking out, and I just step in front of it. I just knew it was coming already from the get-go.
Wow.
And then just this time I beat the quarterback and then ran 60 yards for a touchdown. That was just so much. I feel like that was a culmination of all the work and studying just finally came together.
All pays off.
Because you can do all the studying you want, and sometimes it just doesn't.
It doesn't happen, but you're prepared for when it does.
Yeah.
That's the whole premise behind it. But yeah, that was a cool moment. I do remember that.
I needed oxygen. I think I missed like the next 2 drives. They don't for whatever reason, after just celebrating and just yelling, just dead.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe, especially in Colorado, the elevation. I just could not breathe.
Yeah. I'm surprised your teammates didn't carry you to the sideline, just pick you up.
Well, there's one, Jalen Sami, number 99. He's a poly dude. He's probably like 6'7", 6'8". He literally has me like scooped up over his shoulder like a little child.
Gonna put you to bed. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so we can go back to this. We can go back to Cincinnati now, but I just thought I'd ask you about the Colorado part. So I've never been to Cincinnati. What was that? The experience of training camp? Was it surreal? Did you like? You know what I mean? Like, what were your first thoughts like when you first got there? Like, here I am. I've got a job to do. I got to prove myself. I've got to get picked up. You know what I mean? That's a lot of you didn't go in there with the same mind as most people do when they've been drafted. You know what I'm saying? So you go in there and you're like, I got to go in here and I've got to try to make this team. Mm-hmm. Was that on your mind the entire time, or was it just like, hey, I'm just going to go out there and do what I do?
You gotta come in with a chip on your shoulder. I mean, being an undrafted guy, you're not going to make the team on defense or offense. You're going to make the team off of special teams. And that was I want to learn the defense, but special teams is how you're going to stick. So I was like, I want to be on everything, on punt, on kickoff return, on punt return, on everything. By the first preseason game, I was on 1 KOR, and then I was on 2 punt and 2 kickoff, and then I was like 3rd string punt return. I couldn't ever get enough of it to secure my value. Obviously, I'm back here. But that's how you want to go into it as a young guy. Right. Even if you're a freshman in high school, you want to build. Coaches aren't going to play you until you've earned their trust.
Right.
And the easiest way and the quickest way to earn their trust is special teams.
Right.
Because you don't have to learn too much. You don't have to memorize too much. You don't have to. If he goes here, I got to do this.
Right.
Special teams, you just run and you go hit something. Special teams is an easy way to get on the field and earn that trust at a younger age.
I don't know if I think I feel like I've told you this before, but I may not have. So forgive me if I repeat myself. But I think I've told you that story about Terrell Davis. That's how he started. Denver really didn't want him. Like they didn't have not that they didn't want him. They didn't have according to what he said, he didn't really make it because they already had the running backs or whatever they thought at the time. So they were playing in a preseason exhibition, whatever it was, overseas. I think it was in Tokyo when they used to go over there. And I forgot who they were playing, but he was on special teams, and he went down the field and he lit somebody up. And they were like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? Like they knew he was there, but it was like he made it kind of a name for himself. And so that's how he started and ended up being a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. When you can get on there and cement yourself in a organization by special teams, that's what everybody tries. That's something that's doable. I know it just happened only that one example, but it has happened, and it just so randomly that this guy ended up being Super Bowl MVP or whatever, and Hall of Famer. I mean, they're kind of glad they kept him. You know what I mean?
I mean, on the NFL roster, you have 53 guys, and then they only dress 46 on game day.
Gotcha.
So, and then probably 8 or 9 are offensive linemen.
Right.
So they're not going to play. 2 are quarterbacks. They're not going to play. Your Jamar Chases, your Justin Jeffersons, they're not going to play special teams. Your running backs, whoever's getting paid big money is not going to be on special teams.
They're not getting hit.
So then that leaves you about 20 spots open.
Right.
And that's where you can kind of add your value that maybe somebody else can't.
Right. I gotcha. So when Cincinnati told me, or when Cincinnati told you that you weren't going to be around any longer, did they do anything for you? They just say, was it like just pretty much cut and dry? Like
I got a text that said,
you got a text?
Well, it was the head coach, Coach Zach Taylor. He's like, hey, Carson, I need to see you. Can you bring your iPad up to my office?
Oh, boy.
I'm like, damn, was it? I could take my iPad up there. Well, before I even went up there, I was taking all my shirts and stuff. Threw all that in my backpack. I'm like, I'm taking this with me.
Yeah.
Take my iPad up there. I mean, he was really nice about it. He had great things to say. And then I met with my position coach, Coach Begg, and then I met with the defensive coordinator too, Coach Lou. Like they told me what I needed to work on, what they wanted to see moving forward, what they thought I could do better the next time I got an opportunity. Like they were all really, really nice about it.
Right.
They needed to bring in an offensive lineman for the next preseason game because they had 2 got COVID and one got hurt or something.
Right.
So they had to bring in somebody else to add some depth. I mean, they told me the reason why, and then told me what I could do moving forward to try to better myself. So I mean, that's the best way I feel like you can handle it. It's never going to be an easy conversation.
Right. No, and the only perception that the society has is like on Hard Knocks. You see them call them in the office, and then they go, hey, this ain't gonna work out, and then you see them walk out, and did you think, okay, well, that's it? Did you think you were completely done, or you just were gonna go and try to find another home?
Well, what kind of hurt me from my time with the Bengals is I only got 9 plays on defense. I had a tackle on punt, which was cool. Having an NFL tackle was cool.
Yeah.
Then I had a half a tackle on defense, but I only had 9 plays on defense, so that kind of hurt me moving forward. That's another reason why I want to go do the XFL stuff, get some more film, get some more reps.
Right.
And like I was talking about with special teams a minute ago, for whatever reason in college, I kind of just skipped over that phase. I guess it was the red shirt and just the lack of depth. I just kind of got thrust into a starting role early, so then I was one of those guys that didn't play much special teams.
Right.
So I didn't have that tape. I know I could play special teams, but I didn't have the tape to back that up for other people to see.
Right.
So that was another factor that was kind of hurting me. So I thought I would get picked up, but nothing went by. A couple weeks went by. My agent was like, we got to work out with the Patriots. So then I go up there. It's me, 2 offensive linemen, a tight end, and a DB. And we're going through the workout. It's going good. And then after like 10 minutes, they told the DB, they were like, yeah, you're good. You can go home. And then kept working out. And then I thought I did good. And then the tight end I was with did good. It was Thaddeus Moss, Randy Moss's son.
Yeah.
So we go through the workout. And then they pull me aside again. And I'm doing like some special teams drills, like running down, like bobbing and weaving on the bags, like a kickoff drill. I'm doing some punt stuff. So I'm like, I'm about to get signed.
Yeah.
So then we go into the locker room, and they're having me and Thaddeus do some more like mobility stuff in the weight room, like testing us, doing some things, some hamstring strength. I'm like, I'm really about to get signed.
Yeah.
And then we go into, they send us in this room, give us some lunch, and there's 5 of us around this round table. And then one by one, they pull the 2 offensive linemen and the DB to go meet with them and watch some film, whatever. And then it's just me and Thaddeus sitting there for like an hour. And then they come back and they let the other 3 guys get their stuff and go to the airport. So it's just me and Thaddeus sitting there for like another like 30, 45 minutes. I'm like, dude, we're about to get signed. Then they pull him into the room, and they were like, they had some health concerns on him, whatever. Yeah. So they said they couldn't pick him up today. And then it's just me sitting in there for like another 30 minutes. I'm like, dude, I'm about to get signed. And then they pull me in there. We watched my 9 clips with the Bengals. They were like, we know this is not what you usually do. This isn't the role that we see you doing. Like, we see you as an outside backer.
Yeah.
We just can't we don't have I forget how they worded it, but they were like, we don't have the space on the roster, basically.
Yeah.
To make the move today, but we'll be in touch, and we want to have you back. So I'm like, that's why it's the highs and lows. Like right there, I'm at a real high, and then everything just gets crushed, gets broken. So I'm like, dude, like, come on.
Yeah.
So then hop on an airplane back down here. And then a couple weeks goes by, nothing. And then I get a call from the Titans, and then it's me. This workout was literally just me and another linebacker from Bama, who he was in a different situation. He was like a 7-year vet. Like, he was already proven himself, everything.
Yeah.
And they took us up there. And this was kind of a different workout. Like, the workouts are over from warm-up. Like, they run you through, the strength coaches run you through a little warm-up.
Right.
From warm-up until it's over is 20, 25 minutes max.
Wow.
Max. Like, they either see what they need to see or they don't. Like,
right.
Instantly. So they run us through some workouts, and I felt like I did pretty good. And then they just sent both of us home. And then after that, like, I thought I did good enough to get signed, but apparently not. And then they sent us home. And then a couple weeks go by, like, nothing. And then my agent was like, we have this XFL deal. You don't have to commit right now. But this is just a backup moving forward. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm about to get signed by an NFL team. Like, I should be playing in the NFL. Like, you see what's the most frustrating, especially right now with the draft, is like, you see all these guys and you're like, dude, I'm better than this guy. It's just, for whatever reason, he got in a better situation, better fit, whatever. But it's frustrating because you're like, dude, he sucks. I'm better than this guy. So then the first draft for the XFL was Thanksgiving. That's right around the time where I went to the Titans. So I'm like, I'm not doing the XFL. And then a couple of weeks go by, nothing. And then the next round of the XFL draft was like January 1st or 2nd. And then I told my agent, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Because it's only just like 3 months. You get done just in time to go to OTAs and kind of start the whole thing over again.
Right.
So I'm like, let's do it. We'll get some film. Like, literally just get some film, go make some money. And then when I wanted to go to Orlando originally just because it's close to home. Yeah. But I'm so glad I didn't go to Orlando. God works in mysterious ways. Went to St. Louis, had the best time of my life. Yeah. Met some great guys.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed my time out there. Played a similar defense, so I was able to hit the ground running and then kind of teach some of the other guys around me and bring them up as well.
Right.
Because just from knowing the the first step in defense is to learn what you do. Next step is to learn what the guy beside you does.
Right.
Then the next step is learn what the whole defense does and how the offense is going to attack that.
Right.
Like say you play cover 3. The weakness of cover 3 is four verts. You attack the seams, or they'll just do some high lows on the seam flat. That's the next step in evolution as a player. And then moving forward, we played in front of St. Louis. Was great.
Yeah.
St. Louis was great. We were playing in front of 35, 40,000 people it was like being back in college again.
Yeah.
That was a real great environment.
But indoors.
Yeah, indoors. Thank God, because it was cold. I played in enough snow games.
So you you played in the old St. Louis Stadium?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool.
America, dome in America. I don't know.
And I heard the old coach, Mike Lee. No, not Mike. What's his name? Mike. He was the St. Louis offensive coordinator back in the
pro.
No, not pro. He played. Man, it was the greatest show on turf. He was the mastermind behind it. What is his name? I can't think of his name right now. But he came. I saw on one of the posts that he was at the game,
mm-hmm.
and I can't think of the guy's name. He's an offensive coordinator, but I can't think of it. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, he's basically the reason for the greatest show on turf.
Mm-hmm.
It was his idea to run that style of offense. But anyways, so the XFL, it's different. They got different rules. There's no kick. Well, the kickoff is different.
The kickoff, you kick off from the same spot. They just move the kickoff team down, so you only have 5 yards of separation, which as a kickoff guy is really easy. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Like you get 2 tackles a game.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a lot. As a kickoff return guy, it's impossible because as soon as you turn around, he's already right here. And like, no.
Yeah. Where are you gonna go?
Yeah. The point after attempts are different. So you can go for 1 point from the 2 yard line, 2 points from the 5 yard line, or 3 points from the 10 yard line. And after it's kind of hard as a defense because you just stayed out there for a whole drive.
Yeah.
And very demoralizing because you just gave up a touchdown.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, we got to go one more. You got to go another play.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the season, it was kind of hard to refocus mentally. But towards the end of the year, you kind of got a hold of it.
It's kind of like going for 2 every time. I mean, basically, it's like
same premise.
You could treat it like, hey, the game's on the line. We got to stop them because that's make or break the game right there. And
then we had, instead of onside kicks, you'd have a 4th and 15 from your own 25, which that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's what won us the game. Our first game against San Antonio, we were losing like 18-3. Yeah. With 1:23 left.
Yeah.
And then we drove down the field, scored, went for 3, got it. Went for 4th and 15, got it. Which as a defense, you've just been on the field for 15 straight plays.
Yeah,
like
you can take a little bit.
There's nothing you can do. It's like a boulder going down the hill. There's nothing you can do to stop it. So then we just drove down the field and scored again. And it's a pretty cool because you're never out of the game. You're down.
Yeah.
15 points in a normal NFL or college game, you're out of it because that's a 3-score game.
Right. Well, I think the XFL has gotten okay. So I don't know if you really remember the first time they ever did the XFL.
No, because I didn't really watch it.
Okay,
2020.
No. This is before that. This is when Vince McMahon was. Yeah. And it was more or less just it was a debacle, dude. It was they would put the ball in the middle of the field and I don't really remember, but I remember they're scrumming for the ball like
rugby style.
Like rugby, like that. Whoever got the ball first got the ball first.
Yeah,
it was the most insane crap you've ever seen in your life. Thanks for watching part 1 of this 2-part segment. Stay tuned for part 2.